I just told him that we'll just talk briefly and see if anybody has any questions since there's hardly anybody here.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
God, I wish there were more lights.
There are more lights than people in here.
Hi everybody, welcome to the panel. Just make sure, like all your cell phones are on vibrate. If you're going to leave during the discussion, make sure you don't slam the door. And also, if you have to ask questions, and they're really awesome, and we give them a lot of money to come, you look to the microphone versus sitting in your seat because it's not heard. So other than that, enjoy yourself at the panel.
Since there's only a few of you here, what we'll do is just briefly tell you what we're about, and then, you know, if you guys have any questions or anything about like the book or the Kickstarter process or anything like that, we can chat about it. We don't, you know, we're not going to keep you for an hour just talking at you. We are two members of Bad Karma, which is a creative collective from the Midwest. Jeremy Haun, who's an artist and a writer, currently drawing Batwoman for DC. Just finished up a run on The Darkness for Top Cow. My name is B. Clay Moore. I'm a writer. I do a lot of work, creator-owned work for DC and other places. The other two members are Alex Grecian, who's a best-selling novelist, whose latest novel, The Devil's Workshop, is out soon, and then Seth Peck, who's a writer, who's done stuff. He's written the X-Men and some stuff for Marvel and Image. Bad Karma is a 200-page Kickstarter, Kickstarter-funded hardcover, which we have a couple extra copies of here. It's 5 concepts that we each came up with on our own, and then collaborated with different artists on. I wish I had I didn't know we were going to have such a giant movie screen, or else I'd have a better visual display, but we also got contributions for pinups based on the concepts from any number of popular and awesome friends and artists in the industry. We kickstarted it last year, raised about $36,000 to fund the book. Through Kickstarter, we sold just under 1,000 copies of the book, and then we've got copies that we're still hand selling over there. We're planning on doing a second volume. Probably this summer we'll announce it. So you can see the cover design is by Jonathan Hickman, who's a friend of ours and a talented writer and artist. The main story, there's one story that all 5 of us collaborated on that Jeremy drew, called The Ninth Life of Solomon Gunn. And then there's a crime noir story that I did with an artist named Chris Mitten called Old Dog. Jeremy did a story with Mike Tisserand,
Yeah.
called Chaos Agent. And we have plans to branch out with these stories and take them to other comic book companies, other media. I'm in the process of novelizing my story. Jeremy's working on some things with his story.
One of the intentions with the project was a lot of times when you're working for even Image or Oni or something like that, where you have a lot of creative freedom.
And this is Jeremy's wife, who we'll just pretend is right here.
Yeah. She's pretty invisible. But whenever you're working on projects, normally you have to run it through a system of checks and balances, and frequently things don't fit. Things don't fit with a publisher. Things don't fit with a vision, and we wanted to just have free reign to do whatever we wanted to do, and then build from there. And so that's kind of what we did with all these.
Have any of you guys seen the book, or you have? Do you have a copy of it? Have you? Yeah. Okay. Well, we appreciate.
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, good. Yeah, and all the contributors who helped with the Kickstarting campaign are listed here under the donors. And Kickstarter, I think, is a great way to go directly to people, and they can determine exactly what they want to buy. So we were very pleased with the result, and it's nice to have people come by the table that supported the Kickstarter and tell us how pleased they were with the book, and asking us about the next one.
I think probably before we get to questions, I think one of the things that we should probably talk a little bit about is Volume 2. We're currently working on Volume 2. I know that we've had a lot of questions about when it's coming out and what we're kind of doing. I think putting a big 01 on the cover of something is kind of a blessing and a curse, because it immediately says, hey, we're doing more and we got to get to it soon. With Volume 2, one of the things that we really felt was important was we want to show you as much as possible beforehand. I think we built a lot of goodwill with people with Volume 1 doing it right and releasing it when we said we were going to. But still, it's nice with the Kickstarter project to be able to say, here, look, we've got, 50 pages or 100 pages or whatever it is of this 200-page thing.
Right. When we did the Kickstarter for this, we had almost none of it done. So people were kind of, we had some concept sketches and ideas. So people were kind of supporting us based on faith. This time around, we'd like to have more to show them ahead of time.
Well, and I think that for us, we knew that through sheer force of will, we could say that we were going to do something and then get it done. I think when you're introducing it to an audience, sometimes it's a little harder, especially given the climate right now with Kickstarter projects, where there are things that you've supported that you've been waiting on for years now, and that gets tough. So again, we wanted to do it the right way.
Does anybody have any questions about the book or Kickstarter or anything like that in general? Or, just, no? What we're going to do in the second book, just so you know, Alex Grecian and I are working on a kind of a superhero concept called Subatomic. It's about a shrinking hero, which has been done but never sustained successfully, if that makes any sense. I know the Ant-Man movie's coming out, so I'm sure we'll see some Ant-Man comics. But we're sort of playing with all the different sort of, like growing up, we both read all these books about like the Littles and the Borrowers and Motorcycle Mouse and all these characters that were small, and we're always fascinated by that. So we want to take all of the elements of those stories and even stuff like the Bottle City of Kandor or Superman's Little Miniature City and kind of work all those concepts into a superhero story of our own, which we then want to launch into hopefully an ongoing book somewhere. And then Seth Peck has a thing called Joe Mars, which is a crazy
Post-apocalyptic
science fiction Disneyland sort of thing.
Yeah.
What are you working on?
I'm doing two things for it. One of the fun things that we get to do with Bad Karma is team up in various ways and kind of, we all like working together. And while I'm the only artist in the group, we pair up and do things. Last time I wrote, we co-wrote the main story and then I drew it, and I didn't really have a lot of interest in drawing an entire 22-page thing for this book. So I made this stupid decision then of going, hey, I'll draw a 7 or 8 page story for each of you, which adds up to more work for me, which is kind of really not smart, but I did that. So Clay and I are actually going to do a follow-up to a project called Battle Hymn that we did a few years ago for Image Comics, and it's ours, and we can kind of play with it as we want to, so we thought it'd be cool to do a short there. I'm doing Seth Peck and I are doing a post-apocalyptic high fantasy thing that's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to do that as an ongoing series, probably in late 2015. It's going to be like the next big thing we're working on, and we're going to do the lead-in to that as part of Bad Karma. Alex and I are doing a cool, fun space thing, and I'm doing something with a character. If any of you are familiar with my banner and my booth, I do this character called Skull Digger, and it's like a pulp, World War II era spy smasher kind of thing. And I've drawn that character for years and years, just on various things, and occasionally get bored and I'll do a print of it or something like that. And so what I'm going to do is actually write and draw an 8-page story for that. And then the main story that I'm doing for the book is a thing called Bad Cop, and it's just a story about a detective that he's a mafia detective, a mob detective. Basically, he works for the organized crime, and he's not a cop actually at all. He just is their investigator that goes and finds when shit goes wrong in there. Can I say that? I did. When stuff goes wrong, and kind of fixes it.
Who's drawing that? Do you know?
Steven is supposed to.
Steven
Molnar?
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Hopefully.
so yeah, this volume has 5 concepts, and then Alex wrote a prose piece. Again, as a novelist, it was natural for him to do that. I wrote a prose piece based on my character, and then we each wrote stories based on each other's concepts. The second volume is going to have, I think, a larger number of concepts, like new ideas, self-contained stories, that hopefully you can read the story, and if that's all you want to read, that's cool, but if it interests you more, we'll try to spring it into other comic series generally. And Alex and Phil Hester did a story called Middleton in here about a boy who is, he's like the world's smartest detective as a boy, and then he turns into an actual detective, and then he turns into a crazy old inventor. And through the use of a time machine, all three of that character work together. So he and Phil are working on spinning that into its own book, probably through Image Comics. So that's kind of one of the fun things about it, is it's like proof, like we can introduce these concepts and then take them elsewhere. So beyond that,
Does anybody have any questions about Kickstarter or?
I mean, there's only like a few of us here, so I don't want to just drone on. Does anybody have any questions or concerns or anything, or ideas or anything? No? Does anybody wear a large T-shirt? Anybody here? Magneto? There's a T-shirt for you. There you go.
Good catch, yeah. There you go.
And we've also got, you know, if you want to come over afterwards, we've got some stickers and coasters and tattoos and things like that. Some cards if you want to follow us. And what we would ask is, there's just a few of you here, but take a card and, you know, check out what we're doing. And if you like what we're doing, you know, spread the word through your own networks and people you know and everything. One thing we realized after doing the first Kickstarter, we've got this built-in network of people who follow us and our work, and we've got a lot of friends who contribute or friends in the business, but we kind of realized we all sort of run through the same streams. So I was surprised how many people would tell me, you know, they never heard about the Kickstarter when they see the book, even though they're aware of our work. So we're always kind of aware that we need to do, I mean, we had good support, but we were aware that we kind of need to figure out how to kind of get beyond our own, you know, the pool we swim in all the time and make people aware outside of it.
I think-
So that's where people who backed it or people who have heard about it, you know, can help.
I think Kickstarter is a very interesting thing in the way that you're building it yourself. As artists, we're not always the best business people. You know, as creative types, you know, we don't always. We're used to turning stuff into editors. We draw books, we write books, and then we turn them in, and you know, and then it goes. But Kickstarter, it's all on your own. You're coming up with a business plan. You're executing that business plan, and you're hoping that
Or hoping.
or hoping, yeah. You're hoping that it works out and that you get supported. And we were very fortunate in having as many backers as we did, and really a lot of people that believed in what we were doing. But
You're sitting here. I said, were you happy with the book? I mean, were you?
I got around reading it.
Okay, but I mean,
I like what I
that's good. That's good.
you
I assumed
liar.
you weren't here to like to yell at us or
Yeah.
something, or throw the book at us while we're
Yeah,
sitting here.
yeah.
But
Ask for your money back. That's was in mid-panel. That's good. Yeah. So
that's basically, yeah. Go ahead.
What did you guys do for your Kickstarter that made it successful? Like, what are some of the things that you felt went really well about it the first time around?
It's funny you say that because I always think about what we didn't do well. You know, that's you know, I mean, we started with a video. I don't think the video was as effective as it could have been, but it was really well produced, and people could tell that we were, I think, serious about what we were doing. We did a good job of communicating to that network of people who are aware of us and our friends, and generated a lot of enthusiasm right off the bat from those people, and I think that helped. Beyond that, I mean, I think like I said, I can think of stuff that I want to do differently next time. We had a lot of incentives that enticed people. Like one of the things we did is a print by a friend of ours named Mark Englert, who is turned into sort of a popular printmaker. And so we asked him to do a print based on the overall concept. There's this Kraken theme that runs through the book. So he did this that we put in the book and then sold them separately as hand screen prints. Mark got, what was it, 100 of them? 200 total or 100
Yeah,
total?
yeah.
So Mark got half of them, but then Mark, who had developed this audience that were fans of his work, that brought them to the table. And you know, we had a lot of guys and women who contributed just single pieces of artwork, like you know, Francesco Francavilla, Robbie Rodriguez here, Ben Templesmith, people who have who have a following and also have their own networks, and that sort of helps spread the word quite a bit, just including these guys in the process, even though, you know, their only contribution was doing, you know, really nice full-page drawings,
And I
and
you know,
Templesmith did that.
only going with what he said, having
We involved
having,
good people in the process, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
and going back to the video, having a concise vision, you know, like it's clear. It's not, you know, it's from the beginning. We had a nice, a decent video that we showed. It wasn't like us on an iPhone, you know, holding it at ourselves, and people can kind of tell that you're not just doing something that's just crappy and
Right, you got to put, I mean, if you're not putting real effort into the campaign itself, then people are probably going to wonder what kind of effort you're going to put in.
And you're, you know, when we asked for $18,500
Something like
to
that,
do the
yeah.
project, that's a lot of money, and frankly, that's a lot of money to ask for faith from people on. You know, I mean, in the publishing industry, it's probably not that much money, but to people, individuals like yourself, that are saying, "I'm going to give you my $35 or whatever it is," it's belief and it's trust that it's going to work out. And I think, you know, sometimes you get in these situations where people get this massive amount of money, and then a year passes, 2 years passes, whatever it is, and nothing ever comes of it. And
Yeah, we freaked out, Jeremy in particular. Jeremy's
I freak out a
like, he's a deadline guy, you know, he gets stuff done on time. The rest of us try that, but it doesn't always work that well. So Jeremy was, you know, we had this deadline that we'd set to get the book done, and he was panicked that we weren't going to hit the exact deadline. But we wanted to make sure the book was great, you know. I mean, so we put a little extra time into the design work and everything. And then you start looking at some of these other campaigns people run where stuff just never shows up. And it's like, if people know they're getting it, and it's a little late, but it's what they expected or as good as it, you know, you're all right. So in that respect, we had to appreciate like he says, the faith that the people who backed us had. And we got very few angry messages from people who doubted the book was going to get done or whatever. And we did our best to update and keep people posted on progress. So.
Do you have a way of communicating with people, like saying, hey, the deadline's been pushed back?
Yeah, it actually works through Kickstarter. If you back the campaign, there's if we post like on the website once it's finished, people will get a notification that there's a message, and
so it goes straight to your email.
and if people post on the Kickstarter and ask us questions, it comes to, we have a group email, a Bad Karma,
Well, also,
so we can directly answer questions for people or answer them generally for people.
and when we started out, my wife wasn't as involved, but then as we got into the project, she really came on and really started handling the business aspect of what we were doing. And so now if anybody sends an email, she replies. And she
Right.
gets back very quickly and you know, can explain things. And you know, and
But that's where people fall down, is because a lot of people are trying to do all this themselves. There's no way we would have got this done and out the door without his wife Lori's help. Just the man hours involved in the shipping, and as soon as the Kickstarter ended, the international shipping jumped like 20% on us. So we had to find money to cover that. We couldn't go and ask people to pay more than we had asked them to pay, so we had to find a way to cover that. And
we danced for a while. Didn't work out so well.
yeah, so that kind of stuff is, now we will expect it, but we've got a friend named Ryan Brown who did a Kickstarter for a book called God Hates Astronauts that's an amazing book, and he raised $60-some thousand or whatever. One thing he did that was successful is he had the whole book finished before he launched it, and on the Kickstarter he had like a layout of every page so people could see that the book was done and you could kind of get an idea what it was. And I think that there's not much risk at that point, you just got to have faith that he's going to get the thing printed, but you know that it's finished. But he was handling most of that on his own, and I think it almost killed him.
Yeah,
But, you got to ship 1,000 books, all over the world, and there's 4 of us, and we had a whole bunch of books we all had to sign, and we're not all, we're all within about 2.5 hours of each other, but it's not that easy to, get everybody. Alex is on book tours in Europe and stuff, and it's just little things like that. You're like, it was such a pain in the neck for us just to get together to sign all the books, And then we would all be together and not sign books, and then realize.
We get together and then we just, eat pizza and drink and
So
hang out.
Jeremy's wife will just start handing books out if we're around, and to sign them. But it's just, there's just so much more that you're never as prepared as you think you are. Polaris?
As artist types, was it hard to budget? Like, how do you understand right off the bat how much money you were going to need to make it?
to a degree.
We thought I mean, we had, we knew the printing costs. We knew before that, we were more concerned about timetables. Because printing overseas, it's going to take, you can get the book done, but then you've got the months for it to ship and everything. No, we didn't budget correctly, but
we were close. I mean,
we were in the ballpark.
That's the thing. I think all of us do come from like a creator-owned comics background. We've done stuff.
I'm so god-awful with money. I am the worst. I mean, it's unbelievable how bad I am with money.
But luckily, honestly, and we're going to keep saying this over and over again, going back to Lori, she really is amazing with money, and she broke it down. We sat down several times and broke down, this is where we're going to need to budget for this. And, I think the things that we just didn't really expect with the shipping charge, the increase there, I think it got kind of ridiculous. And then there's just little things. I think that you can't always plan for like
damaged copies.
Yeah, or like that, you'll send something to Germany and you'll get the package back that you paid for. You sent it off, and you'll get it back, returned to sender, and it's just like a wad. And so then you have to send that same $60 book again, and or like you don't really think about the fact that bubble wrap costs this much money, and you try to get enough, but it's never enough, and it's just little things. It's you kind of hear the idea that you make your budget and you work it. You try to get it as tight as possible, and then add 20 to 25% on top of that for whatever you're planning on doing, and that's really the way.
And then we did things like we did these little hand screen coasters, which nobody was. I mean, it was almost like a throw-in, but we had to do 1,000 of these. So,
yeah.
We visited him at the local university. We spent 2 hours hand screening these. And you're like, this can't be the most effective use of our time, But we promised people that. So.
Well, and that's one of the things too. It's whenever you're doing a project like this, you really do need to look at what your time is worth. And, I try to draw a comic book page every single day. So 7 days a week, I draw a comic book page. And then, you break it down and you say, okay, I get paid whatever I get paid, and this is what my time's worth. Even if you work, even if you work as a mailman or whatever you do, your time's worth a certain amount of money. And if you're spending, if I'm watching Breaking Bad and putting stuff in an envelope, I don't care. I'll do that all day. It doesn't bother me. But if I'm having to go and doing some of this hand-done stuff really kind of does get very costly just from a time perspective.
Does anybody else have any questions about the process of the book or anything like that in general? Nope, he doesn't. But yeah, and so, like I said, we've got cards up here, and we're planning on hopefully launching the second Kickstarter for the second volume this summer sometime. And at that point, I'd really like to have a lot of story pages and stuff to show everybody. And one thing we will do a little differently is we'll probably dial back on some things like this, coasters, and we've got some tattoos up here if you want, some stickers as well. I do love the stickers. I got to admit, I like the stickers. I stick them on everything that I.
Yeah.
So, the main thing is we want a companion that's as good as the first one, and when people put them on their shelves, they look good next to each other, and we'd like to keep doing them.
Every year, yeah. It'd be nice.
Because it's not just a book; it's a group and a brand that we're trying to sort of establish.
And in creative things, as we all get older, you find this just in life in general. But if you want to be able to hang out with your friends in the creative community, you kind of have to find an excuse to work together. So if we're making a comic together, we get to go on tour and go out to eat afterwards, and when we're done fighting, I guess. Yeah. So hey, I'm gonna put you on the spot. What did you get for your package? Like what?
I did the sign set with the print.
So a print and a signed copy. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's one of the things that we've really tried to look into. Was we had so many options for what you could get. You could get, a print, you can get a signed copy, you can get a standard copy, you can get, it ended up being 3 T-shirts and all this stuff. And so we've been doing a lot of math, the boring part, where we're trying to figure out what was time and money well spent, and what's too much to offer.
I'm taking a picture of Jeremy's notes here.
Yeah, and and trying to figure out where that time is best spent. I think signed copies were a great thing.
Yeah, we'll obviously do that.
That really worked out well. But yeah, some of the stuff we're going. I mean, obviously, I don't think we're going to do hand-pulled screen prints again. And I mean, it's a great idea, but some of that stuff people really appreciate, and then sometimes people, you can print something at Kinko's, and people are like, "That's awesome," and it works just as well. So.
Along that line, I was going to say, like on Kickstarter, you see a lot of businesses and startups offering little knickknacks and doodads, and obviously the posters and screen prints stuff. You guys did some of that too, but how much of that is actually been bringing in new consumer base at all?
Honestly, that's the thing. And I talked about Ryan Brown's Kickstarter earlier, which was for this God Hates Astronauts hardcover.
Thing you want. There's no restriction on it at all, and suddenly
Right.
you're
Sometimes you need someone to tell you, no, that's
you
not.
don't need to do that. You don't need a keychain that or whatever it is.
You don't need 1,000 hand-printed coasters.
However, they're kind of awesome. So yeah, there's that. But anybody else?
Well, we're in Artist Alley. You can see Jeremy's banner with that Skulldigger character he was talking about, as well as the Bad Karma, part of the Bad Karma banner. So if you guys are out, come by, and if you haven't seen the book, check it out.
We're H16 and H17. It's like a corner right there. So
Yeah, and check out Jeremy. Jeremy's got prints and original art, and I've got copies of a book I just did with Tony Harris at DC that I'm offering at a discount if you want to check that out. And also, I might have some stuff on my iPad if you want to come by and just see what we're doing from
family
here on
photos
out.
and stuff.
I mean, it's only 3:30, but rather than just keep you guys forever, I just we cover everything basically. Everybody cool? Does anybody have any other thoughts or questions or anything? No. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So come on up here if you want to, guys, and grab a sticker or whatever. And if we've got a few cards here. Did you bring more cards? I've got like a few cards here. So grab these, and then it's got all our social media stuff listed on it. Go ahead and check that out. We don't post all the time, but anything that's new, we'll post to Facebook, which goes to Twitter. And that way you can keep updated on not just Bad Karma, but what individual projects we're all working on. And like I said, if you like what you see, spread the word on your own social networks and everything.
And if you haven't seen the book, please come by and check it out.
Yeah.
We're not really hard sellers at all, so
And don't hesitate to drop us a line individually if you have a comment or you want a question or anything like that. We'll always, respond and are glad to interact with people. So, but yeah, feel free to come up and grab some stuff. And like I said, come by and say hi if you'd like to. So,
thank you.
thanks, guys.
What do you want to do with these? You want to give those away?
And,
And if you just came in to get out of the rain, you could probably hang out a little while. I don't know. Yeah. Card, take a sticker. Yeah, go ahead, flip through. These are some of our dinged up. Yeah, well, come by the booth and check out our shirts and stuff.
Hello? Hi, my name's Tamar. I am your panel minion. Thank you. First, want to thank you for coming to Emerald City Comic Con 2014. Glad to see a lot of really great cosplay out there. Unfortunately, this is my cosplay for the weekend. Awesome minion. So just a couple things to start. As you know, we are streaming live on FlipON.TV. So that being said, please make sure your cell phones are on vibrate or silent. I know it's awesome. It's cosplay. You want everybody to see how much. I think one guy did like over 1,300 hours plus. Where's my Halo? Where's my Halo? Where's my Spartan? 1,300 hours plus. You want everybody to see it. You want to tell everybody, look, I'm on TV. Check me out. Keep it down. If you're going to leave the panel rooms for any reason, please make sure that you don't slam the door. And also, if you have any questions, please go to the mic versus just speaking in your seat because they have a hard time hearing. So it's easier if you go to the mic and so the panelists and it gets heard properly because they really can't hear it when you're up here. Other than that, please enjoy yourself. Have a good time. You know, eat, drink, be geeky. That's all I can say.
So should I just sit a little bit further back and control it? Or like,
Yeah. Let's see how far we can get it going. Sure.
okay, cool.
Just everybody's gonna have to make sure they don't trip over it.
Oh, we can, yeah, that's fine. I'll
Because
just push
we
it.
can't, if we take it out, it'll die.
Okay. Just make sure it's clear.
But just when everybody else is gonna come to the stage, we gotta make sure.
Okay, then I'll escort them up
Yeah.
and make sure nothing's not done. Wait, what time do you prefer?
There we go.
Okay, so do you want me to take one off stage? Do you want to have another one there?
Yeah.
On the edge, so I'm just going to watch the bar and go. Yeah, I'm going to escort the guys up. Oh, do you want to put it together? Oh, yeah. Let me show me.
Watch out for the power cable.
Yeah, we just can't knock that down. It's just in a weird angle, so just hop over that.
No, I wanna trip over it. That would be fun.
And then, yeah, the second one from the end is yours.
Is there any power in that thing? Because now it's.
Yeah, it's on. Just check the center part right there. Lights on. Green lights on.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they got their line up there. Are you the one that zooms in that thing? Oh, she zoomed in.
Maybe it was just the guy stretching.
We're relieved. We're ready. You know when you guys are ready?
Hey, if you want to put Bill here, now put Cap by me.
Okay.
Here. Here.
But then Dankish has to move. No, wait, no. Oh, could you grab Bill's spot here? We're going to shuffle them so more people can see you guys.
Okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, I'm trying to bring up email with Bill, but it's not coming up for some reason.
We have 7 minutes. So I guess because you all can't see the screen, I'll just read the slides and then ask you guys to discuss it.
Oh, okay.
I'm all flushed pink.
Really? It's not let me bring up my messages. Wait, hold.
Cat left a voicemail.
Want me to call him or text him?
Whatever you prefer.
We've got like 6 minutes, so.
Where is it?
It's on the end of the table next to
The what?
The hand sanitizer?
Really?
Weird.
I'm gonna go out there and see if I can call him.
There's Raul. How you doing? It's good to meet you.
All right, cool. We fight.
Finish him. How you doing, man? It's good meeting you.
Let's see.
I'm gonna have to go find a signal. You want me to do that?
Yeah, you can run out. Okay. I'm not sure if Bill's running late, but if you want to swap your cards and sit up here, so at least we have 3 of us in the middle, in case
okay.
nobody else shows up.
All right.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna double check. Open up.
Yeah.
Check.
Pew, pew, pew.
Is that? There we go.
So I guess. That's delicious. And what I really want is
Good.
We're good? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
Xander
everybody.
Brandt made
I see a
mold
lot
of that.
of awesome costumes out there. I'm really excited.
like a year ago.
Yeah.
And he took 6 months to get back to me. He said, "What?"
We're starting.
Oh, all right. Okay.
No talking in class.
He's had health issues.
These guys have all the costume skills, so I'll be helping moderate, move the slides along, and get them going. So we'll get started. Welcome to Making Video Game Armor from Concept to Reality. My name's Annabelle Martinez. Last September, I started a project called Men vs. Cosplay, which is basically a way to kind of celebrate male cosplayers from all over the world. And I'll have these guys run through really quick before I go into more about the project and what we have to talk about today. So if Bill wants to start.
Yep, just taking pictures of the crowd. Hello, my name is Bill Duran, and I am a local prop maker. I run a little outfit out of my basement called Punished Props, and I build props for a living, and it's the best job in the world. So, yay.
Is this thing on? Am I on?
You're good.
You probably got
It's
the
on?
drop.
All right. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. This is incredibly humbling. This is my first panel. I'm Dankwish, full-time nerd, and just Shiba Inu, ninja, and giant robot enthusiast. So, yeah, I got into cosplay a couple of years ago, just because I'm a nerd, and I'm just seeing the community is incredibly humbling and incredibly motivating.
Well, my name's Alan Amos, and well, kind of like Bill, but not quite as fantastic. I'm also an independent prop maker. I own my own. I just started my own business back in January, trying to follow in steps of like Bill, and create props and costumes for folks that want to commission me too. And I've been doing cosplay for about 4 years. I started off with Star Wars groups, and then